Hey guys, so I'm back with the final installment of House of Recaps for Season 2, which is really exciting. So I've got like 4 episodes, but that's including the finale, so it's kind of like 5, but yeah, we'll get to that. But before I start, I just want to say, I filmed the first like episode segment part of this yesterday while I was sick, so I kind of look like crap because I was having like a lazy day, so just excuse that. I didn't get to finish filming unfortunately yesterday because something personal came up and I had to leave, but yeah, I'm just gonna randomly change clothes and hair and look really bad for like a few minutes and then it'll go back to normal, so just excuse that. Alright, first episode is House of Phantoms, House of Surrender. Okay, so we're gonna talk about 3 arcs, even though the Sabuna arc is like the main part of this episode, but we'll do that last because it's the most important. First is something with Joy. She has decided to enter the school in a blogging contest, so they can have 1 entry for the school and 1 entry for 1 blogger from the school, and Mr. Sweet was like, go enter Mara in the last episode. But she didn't want to do that and she entered herself. But Mara thinks that she entered Mara and she's lying, and Eddie knew, so Eddie told Jerome. So nothing's really happening with that, but it's like a problem that's like brewing and is gonna blow up soon eventually. Second thing is Petty. Patricia's kind of acting cold to Eddie, not on purpose, just because she's been so involved with Sabuna. So Mara approaches her and was like, hey, so if you guys are dating now, you need to be a little nicer. So Patricia starts acting like more coupley with Eddie, but it's like awkward coupley because Patricia's totally not the romantic type, and it's really funny. So she's like trying to get them to like share food and like awkwardly hold hands in class, and it's really funny. And then when she finally like teases him once, Eddie's like, okay, that's the real Patricia I'm looking for. So they're still kind of like working their relationship out. And last, third thing, Sabuna stuff. Okay, so we left off with Sabuna when Nina falls through the little hole in the Senate game and everyone's freaking out, especially Fabian. Like, they're all pretty much crying. Fabian the most. He's just like, he feels so guilty and he's like distressed and freaking out over it. So they end up just quitting the game in the middle and going back, and they're trying to figure out what to do because they know if they complete the Senate game that they can get Nina back. However, they're pretty sure they're gonna end up losing someone else. But they ultimately decide that they're going to continue the Senate game, so Fabian keeps practicing and he's flipping out. And he's like, okay, you know what, I'm just going to go tell Mr. Sweet we need to go save Nina. So they go to Mr. Sweet's office. It was him and Amber. And Mr. Sweet ends up leaving real quick before they can tell him exactly what's going on. And so Fabian and Amber start talking, and they end up hearing Nina calling their name because she can hear them talking. And they find out that the vent in Mr. Sweet's room is kind of like a communication thing they can use, so it must lead to wherever Nina is so they can talk to her. So that kind of brings relief to Fabian and the rest of Sabuna. So at the end of the episode they go to try again, and they're playing and Alfie makes his move and he ends up falling through, but since he kind of sees it coming and he knows what's going to happen, he's able to kind of like grab onto the edge and he's trying to get up, and that's when the episode ends. Okay, so 2 favorite parts of this episode. One is just distressed, angry, like hurt, like, I don't know, you know what I mean, that kind of Fabian. I love watching that. I mean, it's really sad to watch, but like, I sit there like, Brad does such a good job portraying this like hurting Fabian, such a good job. And I don't even, like, obviously, like, I can't even describe it because I'm having a struggle here with words, but Brad is just phenomenal at playing this kind of Fabian, and I love to watch it as much as it kills me. It's just really good. Second favorite part, Patricia's offering up ideas for her and Eddie to do. She's like, let's take up a joint hobby or something, and it's really funny and awkward, but she's like, how about noodling? And then Eddie just looks at her like, I like the sound of that, and then she's like, it's just fishing with your hands, and it was just funny, because they like to throw in little innuendos there for us older people, and I thought it was funny. Yeah. Okay, so now is House of Strategy, House of Memory. 3 arcs again. But Sabuna is really the most important part. The other ones are kind of like minor. First thing is involving the article and Joy. As I said before, she entered her article instead of Mara's when she was supposed to enter Mara's, and basically in this episode Mara finds out because Joy accidentally told Eddie and Eddie told Jerome, and they're like, hey, we have to fix this, so they got Mara's article entered, and then they revealed to the entire class like, hey, look what Joy did bad again, and then she's kind of staying strong this time. Like, she walks out and she's like, fine, yeah, I did it. Okay, haters, take the floor. And I'm just like, you go, Joy. Even though it was kind of bad what you did. So that was that. Second is Makara, because Mick shows up in this episode, and I remember just like flipping out when that happened. And I was just flipping out like watching this episode again. because like we go so long without him, and like he's my favorite character, so I was so excited. But basically he's video chatting with Mara, and Mara is just like going on and on and on about Jerome, and he's like, so you know, you're talking about Jerome a lot. If you don't think this long distance thing is working, then we could just forget it, I guess. And she's like, no, it's fine, I'm sorry, I'm talking about Jerome too much. And then she's kind of like a little like hesitant like the rest of the conversation, and she seems kind of weird, but Mick's like, okay, good, whatever, we'll be together still, and he's all happy. So then she's like, oh, I should probably go because it's like 3 a.m. in Australia, and he's like, it's alright, you're worth it, and I just die. It's like, and that was the end of their conversation, and then Mara kind of looks a little like she's thinking about probably Jerome and Mick, and yeah, that's that. Alright, last arc is Sabuna stuff. Okay, so we left off with Sabuna in the tunnels. Alfie was about to fall through the hole, but he catches himself, so he gets pulled up by Patricia, and everything's okay. So they just quit playing that game, and they go back to, like, strategize again. Fabian suggests that they find someone else to, like, help them, because obviously he's not doing a very good job, no offense, Fabian, so they start thinking about possibly bringing someone else on board. They also go to Nina and bring her food. Well, not go to her, but they go to the little vent thing, they bring her food through the vent, and she's just like, thank you, because she's starving. While Nina's down there, she's actually been talking to Victor's dad, and she's learning a lot about herself as the chosen one, because she is actually a chosen one. She learns that she is this thing called the Paragon, and she has to like save the world, and that she has this counterpart called the Osirian that's supposed to help her. So she's kind of just sitting here like, whoa, this is really intense, and it's very important information. Fabian ends up thinking about it, and he thinks that they should use Joy as their strategist to help play with them, and everyone's totally against it, but he goes ahead and asks her anyway, and she's really excited because, you know, she's been kind of like outcasted all this time, and finally she's like, yes, I feel a part of this, but everyone's not accepting it. Amber even goes to her like, oh, you're probably just gonna throw the game, so Nina gets stuck down there forever, and then she gets really upset and almost quits, but Fabian convinces her to do it, and it's all good. So, that is good. So she starts practicing Senate and all that. And there's also this thing with the memory box. Trudy decides to hire a therapist to get her memory back after she lost it, but Vera intervenes and hires this other guy to do it. So he uses this Egyptian memory box, and he's able to force memories into Trudy and make her believe that that's what happened. So Vera wants to do that to Sabuna, but thankfully Alfie and Amber are over here, so hopefully that's not going to happen to them, because now they're aware that it's going to happen, so they think they'll be able to overcome it, but they're still trying to figure out exactly why Vera wants to overcome their thoughts and memories, and then the episode ends there. Oh no, wait, the episode ends when we find out that that therapist guy is actually Rufus. That's where it ends. More important. Okay. Alright, so my favorite scene in this episode, take a guess, guys. Okay. Go ahead, guess. Yeah, okay, Makara scene. That was my favorite part of the episode. Just because Mick comes back, and then my OTP is existing. This is like its final moments, pretty much, because Mara's sitting there like, and then Mick's just like happy and like, it's okay, you're worth it, and stop being cute. Like, can I just have Mick? Mara, if you don't want Mick, I will take Mick. Like, yeah, just so many, that moment, it's just so many feels for me. Okay, next is House of Pretenders, House of Trouble. This is, again, very Sabuna heavy. There's like one other little side plot going on that I'll talk about first and then just go straight into Sabuna stuff. Okay, so it has to do with like the Mick, Mara, Jerome little love triangle. Jerome and Mara are playing Chubby Bunny, which is actually hilarious, but then Mick calls on Mara's computer again, so she goes to talk to him, and Jerome leaves and is kind of just like this, I understand, sorry, and Mara seems really upset. But then she goes to talk to Mick, and he's like talking about his life in Australia, and he's like, oh, my dad's coming to visit and I really want to come, but I have this game I have to go play in or whatever, and then Mara's just like completely glazed over, not paying attention, and Mick realizes that, so he's just like, is something wrong? And then she starts to be like, well, I was thinking about what you said earlier about how this long distance thing is working, and then Mick's just like, there's someone else, isn't there? And then she kind of just like looks at him like, and he gets like angry and shuts the computer off. And that was sad. And then later on, without even talking to Mick, she goes to Jerome's room, and you see her like practicing before she walks in. She's like, Jerome, like, I really like you, and I know this is weird, but, and then she's like practicing what she wants to say, but Jerome's not there, so nothing gets to happen, but that's happening, and I'm sad. But, you know. So, Sabuna. Alright, so after talking it through, they figure out that they think Vera wants to take over their minds so they can be pawns in the game of Senate. So what their plan is when Vera goes to use the little Egyptian mind box, they're going to just like focus really hard and actually not believe in it, because as long as they don't believe in it, it's not going to work. So they decide they're going to play dumb, let Victor use them as pawns, and as soon as they get to the end, take the mask and like go. So then they win, and Victor and Vera lose. Joy is a little hesitant about this because she thinks, she's got a good shot of winning, and she doesn't trust Victor and Vera, obviously, but she has to let them go. So they go through with that plan, and Joy ends up like sneaking behind them without anyone knowing and filming the entire thing. But they go through with that, and Victor ends up failing, and Alfie falls through the floor. And then he gets really upset because he's like, oh no, we weren't supposed to hurt the students. This is really bad. He forces Vera to like take them out of their trance that they're not actually in, so he does that. Then they run away, and then Amber and Patricia and Fabian are just like freaking out. Not as much as Nina, because they know where he is, but just the fact that they lost another person was really bad. So they end up going to practice with Joy again, and they're like this close to being ready. Joy thinks she needs one more day, but they have figured out how the Anubis pieces move, which is going to make Joy finding a safe path like really good. Then down in the tunnels where or in like the little vat where Nina and Alfie are, Victor Sr. goes to talk to Nina again about the Chosen One and like about what the mask is, because Nina wants to know, and he's about to start telling her what exactly the mask does, and he says that he needs the Tears of Gold, but that's not its purpose. And then Sankara comes and is like, don't tell her, and he gets all freaked out and his ghost thing goes away, and Sankara's like, we're running out of time, you need to do your job or else I'm gonna go find someone else. And she's like, So then you see this flashback, or not a flashback, it flashes to Sankara going into Fabian and Eddie's room, and she's trying to wake up Fabian, and it's like, you're the Osirian, but then Eddie wakes up, and she's just like, wait, are you the Osirian? So she's about to like mark both of them, and Eddie's about to reach for Sankara's hand, and Fabian's like, no, don't do it. And then the episode ends before we find out what happens. Favorites in this episode, I really liked Jara playing Chubby Bunny. I think that was funny. Just like a little moment for them. Okay, I need to explain myself. I like Jara, I just don't like the way Jara plays out. Like, I think they're cute together, I just don't like it. I don't like the way it plays out. Like, things happen that aren't moral. So, yeah, but they were cute playing Chubby Bunny, that was good. And then, least favorite would just be, like, Mick hanging up on Mara, and Mara going to, like, talk to Jerome about going out when she's still with Mick. Yeah. Okay, next episode, House of Traps, House of Stakes. Again, this is very Sabuna heavy, just like one little extra part. I forgot to mention this for the last episode. Rufus Zeno came into the house and kidnapped Jerome because he happened to see him. So he's gone, and Poppy and Mara realize that he's gone, and they're trying to figure out like what the heck happened to him. And Eddie actually saw Rufus kidnap him, but he was like, oh, I'm his uncle. And Eddie was kind of just like, okay. And at the end, he ended up telling Patricia and Mara that he remembered that the uncle's name was Renee, and they're just like, he doesn't have an uncle Renee. And Patricia's like, oh crap, it's Renee Zelderman, Rufusino. So that was bad. Jerome's been kidnapped, and he's just like in, I think, probably the same place that Trudy was, I'm thinking, because it looks pretty similar. Okay, Sabuna stuff. So, Joy's finally ready to go play the game, so she does. And they manage to get all the way to the end, except while they're going, Amber has to make a move where it's risky whether or not she's gonna make it, and Fabian's like, okay, well, you go to Patricia's space, and Joy's like, no, go forward. And she ends up listening to Fabian, and then both Patricia and Amber fall through the floor. So then it's just Joy and Fabian, and they get really angry at each other, and they're like, well, you made this happen, and blah, and they're like calling each other names, and then they kind of just like take a breath, and they're like, okay, we just gotta finish this, and Fabian ends up getting to the end, and they're about to go get the mask, but two keys pop up, and it's one, you can get the mask, and the other is to go save your friends, but you can only take one. So obviously they pick the one to go save their friends, and everything's fine, they go save everyone, it's happy. So they go back, and Nina's about to go visit her gran because she knows she doesn't have much time left with her gran because she's the timepiece, and then Sankara approaches her and was like, hey, so, you're not doing a very good job, your friends made the wrong choice, they should have got the mask. And she threatens to kill everyone, pretty much, including her gran, so Nina's freaking out, and then the episode kind of just ends there. No really favorites or least favorites, because it was just like really intense. I think if I had a favorite, it would just be the moment with Joy and Fabian, because after they get past, they kind of have this like, yay, we did it, and then like they apologize to each other for calling each other names and stuff, and Fabian apologized for being a coward about like not approaching her about Nina and stuff, so that was good. Favorite moment. Okay, and last but not least, we have the finale, finally. I'm just gonna split this up into 3 parts. First is just like the whole Jerome, Mara, Mick thing. Mick shows up at Anubis' house right as Mara is about to break up with him over chum chatter, so she doesn't do that. But he's all like, hey, I'm here, like, and Mara's just like, oh, you're here, and he's like, well, you know, you should, like, come hug me because this is really romantic and most girls will be really happy. So she does, and it's like, fine. And it's the funny scene. I was really, like, I was flipping out because Mick was, like, there, and actually there. That was, yeah. And then Mara's not happy, so that was sad. But yeah. Okay, so he's all like, hey, we should go get lunch tomorrow, and we could talk, because we really need to talk things over. And she's like, yeah, I guess so. So they're about to go leave the next day, and then Poppy comes up tomorrow and was like, hey, I still don't know where Jerome is. Can you come with me to my dad's hearing? And she ends up being like, I don't know, because Mick wants to do this. And Mick's like, you know what, it's fine, we'll just go do their thing, and we can do lunch another time. And so they go to the Clark hearing that's going to possibly get Mr. Clark out of jail, and Poppy reads Mara's article, and it goes pretty well, except for the fact that Jerome's not there, and they're all like, I don't know why he's not here, and Mick keeps making, like, snarky comments like, oh, obviously we know why he's not here, it's Jerome, like, I can believe that he's not here. And it's just, that entire scene makes me so mad because the writers are making Mick out to seem like this really, like, mean and horrible person, when really I think he's just kind of, like, frustrated because his girlfriend's getting really attached to another guy. He comes all the way to Australia to make up with her, and now they're, like, doing this instead of, like, just hanging out and talking. So that scene just bothers me, but it happens. Okay, Sabuna stuff. Okay, so Sabuna decides to split up. Half of them are going to go find Jerome because he's still kidnapped with Rufus somewhere, and the other half are going to go find a key that they think might exist to go open the Mask of Anubis thing. They think there's a second one in the library. So first we'll start with Patricia, Alfie, and Fabian, who go get Jerome. They go back to the barn where Rufus always kidnaps people, and they end up seeing Jerome there. While they're spying on him, they learn that the Mask of Anubis' purpose is to turn someone into a god, and they realize why Sankara needs Nina, and that's because they're going to use her, or she wants to use her as a host so she can become a god, and then Nina will have to go with her. So then all of Sabuna, or the half of Sabuna that hears that, are just like, oh my gosh, this is really bad. We also see, while they're hiding, we see Eddie has appeared to go spy on them because I think he's getting fed up of Patricia just leaving him all the time, so he goes to follow them because he thinks that Patricia's cheating on him, but obviously that's not the case. So when Rufus finally leaves, they go into the little vault to get Jerome, and Jerome's not there, it's Eddie, so they're like, what the heck's going on? But I guess Rufus took Jerome, and he happened to see Eddie, so he's like, okay, we're kidnapping you because you saw stuff and you have to go away. So they end up saving Eddie, and they have no idea where Jerome is. So now to join Nina and Amber, they go to the library to start trying to find the key, and based on the clues they have, they think it might be where the Book of Isis was, so they go find that little thing, and they cut a hole in, like, the fabric, and they find the key hidden under it, so they're like, yes, and they're about to go into the cellar to go get the mask. Mr. Sweet catches them, so he sends them back to class. So later on, they go back to the cellar to go get it, and that's when the rest of Sabuna goes down to meet them, and Nina's about to put the mask on for Sankara when Fabian's like, no, you can't do this, and she's like, I have to, or else you guys are gonna die, so she puts it on, and they realize it's fake. So Sankara is freaking out. It's like, we don't need you anymore. And she's like making the little tattoo things hurt, and she's about to leave when Nina's necklace starts lighting up, and it reveals a second clue on the fake mask. And it says that the other one is hidden in plain sight, so they realize that the one in the exhibition is the actual one. So Sankara comes back and he's like, fine, go get it. But that's when Rufus and Victor both come down trying to get the mask. But Sabuna had already pretty much gone after that, so they're like, you know what, they're going, just let them go get the fake mask, it's not going to do anything. So they're up in the library trying to get the real one to work. So it's not working when one of them realizes, wait, there needs to be a third eye, and that's when they kind of put together, like, oh, I think Jerome's gem thing is what the third eye is. So Jerome's actually there, and he's like, well, I don't have the gem, I gave it to Eddie. And that's when Eddie just comes, like, bursting through, and he's just like, he had the gem, and it was like talking to him, and that's when we find out he's the Osirian. So the gem was like, Osirian, go save the Paragon. So he was like, he just like has the sense to go to the library to go save Nina, and Patricia was with him the entire time because she was just like tending for him because he was kind of like shaken up after being kidnapped, and she's just like, I have no idea what's going on with him, he's acting insane. So he gives the gem to Nina. Nina puts the gem in the mask, and it starts to work. So she puts the mask on, Sankara kind of like takes over her, the tears of gold start coming down the mask, and she starts like attacking people, and she throws a lightning bolt towards Fabian, but Joy's like, no, and like jumps in the way and like saves Fabian pretty much. So she's just on the ground, out of the picture for a little bit. Sankara's about to get like her eternal godliness, but then the little voices in Eddie's Osirian head start talking, and they're like, go get the crown, go get the crown. So he runs and gets Sankara's crown, and he uses it against her, and is like, starts chanting weird Egyptian stuff, and like points it at her, and like something shoots at her, and Sankara like disappears and goes away, and then Nina's just sitting there with a mask on her face, and she's like freaking out, like panicking, crying, I don't even know, it's like really intense. That's when Rufus is kind of like, that's where the real mask is, and he goes up to Nina and goes to like rip it off of her face, and he puts it on, but because he is not pure of heart, the mask rejects him, and like a fiery pit of hell pretty much opens up on the bottom of the exhibition floor, and he falls into that, and so Rufus is gone, and Sankara is gone, which is really good. So then we go back to Joy, who we realize is on the floor. She's like freakishly pale because she's pretty much dead. Fabian's trying to find her pulse and can't, and he's like crying almost as bad as when Nina fell through the floor, probably just as bad actually. And then Victor's like, no, there's still a little bit of a pulse, and then Nina comes with the mask and like, look, there's some tears of gold on here, and Victor kind of looks like, you know, he really needs those tears of gold for his elixir, but he sacrifices it and gives it to Joy, who then comes back to life after drinking the tears of gold. Joy comes back to life. Everyone's happy because like everything's done and solved and the bad people are gone. The only one that's kind of sad is Victor because he just sacrificed his lifelong goal of getting the elixir. So they all realize that the marks are gone on their hands and feet and wherever they got marked by Sankara, so they're really happy. Amphi ends up getting back together. Alfie kind of like, he's like, you know what, you know, I know you've wanted to get back together and I've been thinking about it, I think we should, so that's good for them. And then everyone leaves except for Nina, who stays behind to talk to Victor, and she gives him the ring that Victor's father had given her back when she was still in the little pit underneath the Senate game, and she relays the message like, you know, he's really sorry for everything and you're not worthless, so he gives the ring to him, and that's the end of that. So then we go to the party, which is kind of like the conclusion for everything. It starts with Mara and Jerome. She kind of like yells at him like, where were you? You missed your father's parole hearing. And then Alfie's like, oh, here's your gem, good job for searching all over for that. And then Mara realizes that he was trying to find the gem for his dad, which isn't the whole truth, but it's good enough for her to believe. So then Poppy and Jerome's dad walk out, and they're like, hey, look, he's out of jail, yay, and they're all happy. And then Jerome and Mara go to talk again, and Jerome's like, okay, please, please, please go out with me, and she says yes, and then they start kissing. But then you see Mick in the background, who goes, he's probably about to go talk to Mara or whatever, but then he sees them kissing, and he has this like look on his face, and he's just staring, and he's kind of like, he knows he saw it coming, but you can tell he's hurt by it, and it's just really sad. So I mean, good for Jara, just don't do it in front of Mick, at least break up with him first, because he never got a proper breakup, even if we all saw it coming. That was really sad. Alfie kind of just comes up to him, and he puts his arm around him, and they just like walk away, and it was really sad. And that's the last time we see Mick, I'm pretty sure. Then we go to Eddie and Mr. Sweet, and Eddie goes to him, so is what you wanted to talk to me about something about the Osirian? And then Mr. Sweet like chokes on his food and is like, what? So they're about to start talking about it, and then Mr. Sweet's like, you know what, this is not the time and place for it, I will explain as much as I can to you later. So then we go to Joy and Fabian, and they're kind of sitting on the edge of the couch, and Joy's like, you know what, let's go dance, because Nina wasn't here yet, she went to go get a gran. And Fabian's kind of like, and Joy's like, it's fine, I know my place, it's just as friends, so they go dance, and I was really happy about that. But then they're dancing, and we see Gran walk in with Trudy, so we know Nina's coming soon, so they stop, and Fabian goes to like say hi to Gran or whatever, and then Nina comes downstairs, and he's about to like go up to her, but Amber was with him, and she's like, wait, and runs to the party and closes the door, so then they have a moment. It was really cute, and they're talking, and they get back together, and Fabian's just like, you know, you're the one, my chosen one, and it's just really cute. It makes up for all the stuff that made me sad with Jara and Mikara before, because Fabian and Nina were just absolutely adorable. So then they end up kissing, but not for long, because like Amber's watching the entire time and breaks through and starts like fangirling on them, and then everyone has like this big group hug, a big like Anubis house group hug, minus Mick, which made me sad, but yeah, and it's just like happy in the end, except for we look up because the camera pans up and you see Victor in his office, and he discovers there's a secret compartment in the ring with a tier of golds. So he sees the little tier of gold in his ring, and he's just like, oh, and the episode ends there, like huge cliffhanger. I remember that was terrible, that we had to wait so long to see what happened, and we still don't know what happened in season 3. Okay, but that's the end of season 2. Thank you for watching these vlogs if you've been with me since the beginning. I'll be continuing season 3 as soon as possible. I'm saying hopefully like tomorrow or Tuesday, definitely before Thursday though. And yeah, that's it. Thank you for watching these, and I will see you next time. Bye.